In a time when clubs across Europe have been forced into selling due to the tough financial climate, the Premier League has gone to market. At the time of writing, Manchester United, Manchester City and Arsenal have all hit 9 figures with their spending, with Aston Villa and Chelsea close by, while Leicester City and even New Boys Norwich have both breached the £50 million mark. Outside of the Premier League, only a handful of Europe's elite have done the same, including Roma, AC Milan and the free-spending PSG. More could join this group before the window is shut, but the Premier League will be leading the charge. However, there is one notable absentee from the list of England's high rollers, Liverpool Football Club. The 2019-20 Premier League champions have been strangely quiet, only signing Ibrahima Konate from German outfit RB Leipzig. Considering the heavy reinforcements being undertaken by their direct rivals, fans are beginning to wonder what is holding the Reds back. So why are Liverpool being so cautious in the market? What is going on with their finances, and how have their rivals kept spending? In our latest Football Daily Explained, we decided to find out. Contrary to what the transfer market might suggest, the pandemic has hurt the English top flight. Back in June 2020, the accountancy group Deloitte warned that Premier League clubs should expect a £1 billion fall in revenue, with half of that lost permanently. And sure enough, that summer they collectively reported their first ever drop in revenue, down 13% on the previous season to £4.5 billion. Many are still feeling the pinch of the hugely costly mid-season suspension in 2019-20 that led to a significant loss of matchday income as well as rebates or deferrals of commercial and broadcast cash flows. It should also not be forgotten that last season was almost entirely played behind closed doors too, suggesting that 2021 will have proven equally challenging. Indeed, the Premier League's chief executive Richard Masters predicted losses could reach the £2 billion mark by the close of the campaign. Liverpool, for all their success and global reach, are far from immune from the current situation. The Reds reported a £46 million pre-tax loss in the 12 months up to May 2020, while their revenue fell to £490 million, down £43 million on the previous year. Unsurprisingly, their media earnings and matchday revenue took the biggest hit, slumping from £345 million to £273 million. Far from ideal, but Liverpool's accounts in the era of Jurgen Klopp have consistently been in a healthy state. The club's managing director, Andy Hughes, highlighted this very fact in the wake of the report, telling media, "We were in a solid financial position prior to the pandemic, and since this reporting period, we have continued to manage our costs effectively and navigate our way through such an unprecedented period." Success in the Champions League 2 summers ago meant they posted a pre-tax profit of £42 million for the 2018-19 campaign. And roll on 12 months, despite all the financial issues that accompany coronavirus, Liverpool's historic Premier League title has triggered further prosperity. In 2019-20, despite accruing losses, the Reds' commercial revenue increased 15.5% to £217 million, driven on by 8 new lucrative partnerships, including one with Cadbury's, while the likes of Nivea and Carlsberg renewed their relationships with the club. Meanwhile, they successfully launched new retail stores in the emerging markets of Thailand, Vietnam and Singapore, and their kit deal with Nike, signed ahead of the 2021 campaign, reportedly delivered record-breaking sales. So Liverpool's accounts have emerged from the pandemic storm relatively unscathed, and the fact the Premier League has just sold its domestic broadcasting rights until 2025 in a deal worth over £5 billion means there'll be more money coming their way. Plus, in John W. Henry, the face of Liverpool's controlling interest Fenway Sports Group, the club have an owner with a net worth of over £2 billion. Only in March this year, the American businessman sold an 11% stake in FSG for £538 million, providing funds that could be further channeled towards the Reds. It therefore begs the question, why aren't Liverpool spending more in the market? The answer to this lies in FSG's mantra of sustainability. Liverpool's owners have made a point of only operating with money the club generates homogeneously. This approach has allowed Liverpool to massively reduce their debt since the days of Tom Hicks and George Gillette, while reinvesting money from player sales into new purchases. Between 2017 and 2020, Liverpool made a pre-tax profit on player sales of £207 million. In that period, only Chelsea from the classic Big Six earned more from outgoings, generating £243 million, with the rest paling in comparison. So, while Liverpool have been making huge strides in the market, smashing their transfer record to recruit Virgil van Dijk and breaking the £50 million barrier twice to sign Naby Keita and Alisson, it's easy to forget the sales of Luis Suarez and Felipe Coutinho to Barcelona netted the club over £200 million combined. And their activity this summer has followed a similar pattern. Fringe stars, including Marco Grujic, Harry Wilson and Algerdan Shaqiri, have been moved on for around £38 million. And Gini Wijnaldum's switch to PSG should save the Reds a reported £750,000 per week. French centre-half Konate cost a modest £36 million, resulting in a minimal surplus. But where is all this pre-tax profit going? One of the destinations could be to FSG, who broke their rule on sustainability by loaning the club £110 million for the expansion of Anfield's main stand. This decision will have long-term benefits for the club in terms of improved matchday revenue, and with plans to renovate the road stand expected to be approved by the Liverpool Council this summer, boosting the historic stadium's capacity up to 61,000, even more riches could be on the horizon. The road stand expansion will cost an additional £60 million, with work expected to be completed in 2023. However, the stadium renovation will likely pay for itself over time, with FSG only taking a nominal interest of 1.2% on the loan for reasons that don't benefit the owners. In reality, the other area Liverpool have been investing heavily in is player wages. Irrelevant of the tough financial situation, in 2019-20, spending on wages increased by 3% in the Premier League to a record high of £3.3 billion annually. Liverpool saw their own annual wage bill climb to £325 million in that period, up £15 million on the season before. In total, their spending on player salaries increased 24% between 2018 and 2020, fueled on by bonuses paid out thanks to their on-field success. Within the Premier League's Big Six, only Manchester City's has grown at a greater rate within this period. And renewing contracts has once again been top of the agenda at Liverpool this window. The club's sporting director Michael Edwards has been busy tying down Trent Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Alisson and Virgil van Dijk to bumper new deals, but he has more work to do. Jordan Henderson, recently thrust into the gossip columns after his own future was placed in doubt, has reportedly agreed to a new long-term deal beyond its current expiry date in 2023. What's more, Naby Keita and Roberto Firmino are both entering the final 2 years of the current deals, along with Mohamed Salah. But they may have to wait, with the Athletic claiming that securing the future of their Egyptian talisman is the club's biggest priority right now. Salah currently earns a handsome salary of £200,000 per week, well justified after netting 126 times in his 4 years on Merseyside. But that still falls short of what the few players in his world-class bracket also take home, meaning the 29-year-old could be in line for a considerable hike in his earnings. Any new deal will reportedly smash Liverpool's wage structure, although they may have little choice if they want a star of Salah's calibre to stay at Anfield. But how have Liverpool's rivals kept spending? It's a question clearly on Jurgen Klopp's mind, recently joking with press that they obviously don't have any limits, but we were quite successful given our limits in the last 2 years, and that is what we should try again. The reality is that in Sheikh Mansour, Manchester City have an owner with an estimated net worth of £15 billion. Though beyond his deep pockets, the citizens are in a strong financial position, boosted by prize money from winning the Premier League and Carabao Cup last season, plus the riches of the Champions League final. What's more, the club have raised almost £45 million from player sales, moving on the likes of Jack Harrison and Angelino, even gaining a £10 million windfall from Jadon Sancho's move to Manchester United. More players could be on their way out of the Etihad, which could trigger more spending before the summer is out. Chelsea also benefit from an incredibly wealthy owner in Roman Abramovich. The £97.5 million capture of Romelu Lukaku is another example of their spending power, having splashed £220 million in the market last summer. But they are still benefiting from a transfer ban that limited their activity across 2019, and in Marina Granovskaya have a negotiator famed for her ability to sell players at a premium. Manchester United, meanwhile, continue to be the biggest revenue driver in English football. Ultimately, Liverpool's sustainable business model means they don't enjoy the same levels of heavy investment as the likes of Chelsea and Manchester City. Yet this approach has never held them back, with the Reds enjoying a squad on par with their competitors. And thanks to smart adjustments in the face of the pandemic, their current lull in the transfer market appears to only be a temporary measure. Liverpool could yet surprise us with a new signing this window, but Jurgen Klopp will know that securing the future of the club's biggest stars still equates to money well spent. So Liverpool fans, that was our take on why your club isn't spending any money in this window, but are you concerned? Is securing the future of your biggest stars the correct way to go? Let us know in the comments down below. This was written by me, Henry Hill, and edited by James Wayne, so give him a thumbs up if you can. Make sure you're liked and subscribed to the channel with that notification bell switched on, and we'll see you next time.